You're listening to Morning Miscellany with Michael Fox on CRCfm.
Yes, that's the name of the programme. It's myself, Michael Fox, that's in it this morning, as they say. And, well, I'm now pleased to say that we have Mary Burke online. Mary from Crystal Swing. How are you doing, Mary?
Hello, Michael, and it's lovely to talk to you, and thank you for inviting me on your show.
Well, thanks for taking the time out to talk to us on CRCfm this morning. And, in fact, we were playing a little track from your recent album a little earlier on. The album is called The Best Years of Our Lives, and the song I was playing, it was yourself that was singing on it. It was Mary Ann Regrets. But Mary, I'm sure you've no regrets so far the way things are going for the band, for Crystal Swing.
No regrets at all, Michael. As I say, going back 8 years ago, I started up a one-woman band, and it was hard work all the way up, really, Michael, you know, and but it's been worth it all now, because, I mean, we just seem to be riding on the crest of a wave now at the moment.
Yeah, there's phenomenal interest in the band, isn't there? And, I mean, your YouTube site took a huge number of hits, still getting a huge number of hits, isn't it?
Oh my God, it is unbelievable, Michael. I don't think any other band or family has ever experienced this, you know. As I say, to be an ordinary three-piece band one day, and next thing to be, you know,
propelled
international stars and another thing the next day. It's just beyond belief.
It's phenomenal,
you know, phenomenal. And we wait, you know, I do pinch myself every day, and I do ask,
can this be happening?
Is this really happening? No, it's what we wanted, Michael, you know, and but it's...
But when it arrives, it's daunting, isn't it?
It is, you know, because it's a totally different level, even though people are still exactly the same and everything, but, you know, you just feel that you must deliver the goods, you know, even better now, you know.
Do you feel a little bit more under pressure now when you perform, that, you know, there's a lot of eyes on you now and a lot of ears listening to you?
Well, strangely enough, no, Michael, once we hit the stage, it's the very same thing. As I say, even if you're playing in a little pub anywhere, or if you're playing to 10,000 people, it's the very, very same thing, because they're all just people, and wonderful people, and once we hit the stage, the adrenaline starts rolling, and, you know, we don't want to come down, really.
Of course. And I suppose once you get a reaction to the first song, the first number, and it goes down well, you're on your way then, aren't you?
You're on your way, you know, and any musician will tell you that. Like, once, if you have the audience with you, you know, the gig just literally flies, and, you know, you become, you just, you know, once you connect with your audience, I think that's the secret.
This is it,
and thank God, like, since this has happened, you know, we've had great experiences on stage. We haven't had one negative night yet, you know.
Well, we hear good reports here at the radio station. You're pulling huge crowds in. You had a big gig in the UCD in Dublin there not so long ago, didn't you?
We did, Michael. You know, that was only there last weekend.
And
also
thousands.
in UCC, you know.
You
know, like, when my manager, Hugh, first,
you
know, booked those dates, like, my first instinct was, oh wow, you know, all those teenagers and young people, are they really going to like this, you know, or is it just a passing phase? But my God, and actually in UCD the night before we went on, there were some, you know, rock bands and some young bands performing.
Follow that.
And like we said, follow that, like with the pretty little girl from home and the Huckley Buck, you know. But they were ecstatic, and they absolutely loved it, and that is absolutely so. You know, it wants us to even keep going further, because it just. Looking down on that audience, and even if you look up on YouTube, there are some, and on our website as well, you can see some footage from UCC, and like, to see that young audience, it's like a revival, and we're so glad to be part of it, and hopefully it will continue so.
Yes, and I mean, you are, as you're saying, you're covering quite an age spectrum, aren't you? The young to the not so young, I'll put it that way.
Yes, that's the amazing thing, Michael, you know, like, when we go into our, before this, like, you know, even though we had great audiences, we were playing very much to a kind of a 50s plus audience, you know, and, but now we have the grannies, we have the mammies and the daddies, we have the families, and we have the grandchildren coming.
Yes, the teenies.
So you have about 4 generations actually coming to see us, you know, and lots of places we go, you know, you have this person come up to you and he'd say, oh, my 14-year-old daughter is a big fan of yours, and then in some cases you go in and maybe the chef might run out of a restaurant and he'd say, oh, my granny loves you, you know. So, or on
that's
the
wonderful.
street, you know, you're signing autographs to 6-year-olds, and you're signing them to 60-year-olds and 96-year-olds. So it's just amazing. Yeah.
Success beyond your wildest dreams, Mary.
So much so, Michael. Yeah, you know, we're just so humbled by the whole thing. Yeah.
Now, your music, Mary, the music of Crystal Swing, I suppose it could be characterised as part country, part show band, maybe part pop. How would you characterise it yourself?
Well, you know, we have a little bit of everything, Michael. I suppose we would have about 3 shows altogether. We had a show for social dancing. We had a show for you know, for parties, weddings, that kind of thing. And you know, then we would have like, you know, a kind of just a lively anything goes that thing. But I suppose really like our show would comprise of country and music from Dervla. Also Derek then would be like the show band men.
Definitely show band.
Very much so. And then myself, like I would cover the country side of things and also the Irish aspect of it, and a little bit of, you know, a little bit of status quo, a little bit of everything thrown in, you know. So you know, we kind of keep like our band is upbeat and swingy and fast, and you know, we like to keep
the feet tapping,
lively and fast going, you know.
Yes. Now your son Derek, I mean, his performance on the Late Late Show, I think that would have been the first introduction of many people to Crystal Swing, and but for me the memorable moment of the night, or moments, was when he was doing the Hucklebuck and he was going up through the crowd, and those legs.
You know, a lot of people are just amazed with Derek's legs. And
elastic legs, I've seen it.
Elastic legs, yeah. You know, and he can jump into the air and do all kinds of somersaults. But, you know, Derek and Dervla, both of them, they both have been singing and dancing since they were little babies, really. And, you know, like, as I say, before all this phenomenon started, you know, when we would be out doing a gig, you know, I always I was amazed at the end of the night when people were standing, not dancing, standing in front of the stage, watching Derek doing his...
Which is like a throwback to the old show band days, isn't it? When people would stand and stare up at, I don't know, Brendan Boyer, Dickie Rock.
Yeah. Oh, that's just it, Michael, and that's what we love, and that's what we're trying to really now revive, you know, and as I say, we're doing it with very little effort, really. It just seems to be happening, you know. But it's just wonderful, because those days were wonderful, and those fantastic performers. I mean, you know, they were just. They were performers and they were singers and entertainers all wrapped up in one, and like it was fantastic. I mean, I think anybody of our, like, I mean, the age, you know, I was probably young even when the show band era was, you know, I was at the end of it, right? But my brothers were much older than me, and like I would have grown up listening to them and singing all those songs. But like they for people that grew up in those times, you always hear the fantastic memories they have of it.
Oh yes, I mean they were. It was a great era, the late '60s into the early '70s. The show bands, indeed, your own area, Cork, produced some wonderful show bands, the Dixielanders, and people like Joe Mack and
and Brendan O'Brien, Declan Ryan, Art Supple, all those. You know, they were real show band men, and Art Supple, like, and Declan Ryan is still going strong.
He is, yes.
Unfortunately, poor Brendan has passed away, but you know, like they were legendary figures, and you know what, they're still talked about very much so in Cork and all over Ireland. So there is very little now for young people to go to, you know. Like that's what I found with Derek and Dervla there. You know, they're looking for some place to go. They're just going down to the local shopping centre and hanging around the car park.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
times are in, yeah.
And like, it just wasn't cool, like, to go to a live band. But hopefully now, actually, you know, we're very inspired there now. Like in our local opera house, for example, you know, we're having a gig on the 16th of May, and like there are lots of teenagers coming to it now, which, you know, maybe 6 months ago they mightn't have gone to a show band show, you know.
Yes. So you've awoken the interest in show band music, and of course country music is so popular as well, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, country music, Michael, you know, they're all love songs, and there's such feeling in them, and you know, I think, you know, you can listen to them over and over again, and
you can, yes.